page. It's been a while since I've been back on YouTube. Just did a recent Thanksgiving episode. This is for my MMA fans and for tech fans watching for the first time. I do cover MMA as well. Welcome back, everyone. I am joined by once again my partner in crime. Partner in crime. Okay, I gotta get this right. We'll get this finger thing right. There we go. Partner in crime, Sam, the SMT.
What up?
Now,
What's happening, Mike?
What's going on, brother? Now, listen, I know you just got through with a live stream, and I know it was a very extensive one, so we're not going to take too much time. We're not going to push you to the limit, but we are going to go into some details. We are going to actually have some fun tonight. So tonight, we are obviously going to talk about, predicting UFC in 2020, talking about the current state of where they are going to be heading. We will also take a look back at our previous predictions to see who was kind of right, because you did bring that up. We'll have a little fun. We'll watch some videos from what we did in the past, see how close we were on predictions. And most of all, we will definitely be talking about some bonus things as well. Now, before we start, let's just get some baby things out of the way before we start the predictions. Last time we talked, we see Tech for Your Needs. Welcome in, man. Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, brother? Tech for Your Needs in the house.
Now, before we do start, we do have to get some minimal things. Obviously, these are not going to be extensive segments. That's why I'm going to get them out of the way. First big one, obviously, it was all over. Ben Askren retired. No surprise there. Kind of knew this was happening. But the way he went out is being debated. People are saying it's legitimate. Some people are saying it's not. Some people say he really does need the surgery. Some people are saying it's just an excuse because his career was bad. And then some people say that the trade was a fail for UFC and a positive for One Champions. But I don't think it was a fail. I actually think it was good for both of them because Askren brought some hype, brought some talk, made the UFC fun, and also helped elevate Jorge Masvidal by getting him to that platform, obviously with that knockout, because we don't really see people get knocked out in like 5 seconds. So we gotta give some props there. And also Askren had some fans coming in. Also, let's do some roll call. We got TM Productions. How you doing, Tyler? Good to see you. Demetrius is doing fine in One Champions. He's gonna love it there. I think he's gonna do great. But I don't think the trade was bad. But everyone's arguing his retirement, so we're not gonna spend too much time on it. Do you think he's actually legitimately retiring for what he says, or do you think it's just because his career was just not good?
I think what ends up happening, these elite athletes are like hyper competitive, right? They obviously see themselves as these, very special talents. They have high standards. They want to succeed. I think his losses have created a lot of disappointment, probably on a personal level. And unfortunately, when you're really like this, a slave to the moment, you're not able to step back and say, is this really something that I want to do? Or am I just considering this because of my losses? So the way he lost to Jorge Masvidal, that's a vicious and brutal knockout. That can make anyone think retirement, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Then he comes back and he fights a winnable fight against a guy who is a world-renowned grappler, and he fights him very well, but he ended up losing, right?
Yeah, he lost.
2 losses in a row, all this crazy hype. He's probably having doubts about his ability in the UFC to compete. And Dana's probably on him too. Dana is probably like, dude, I traded for you. You got a big mouthpiece, and you're not coming through on your end of the bargain.
Hold on one sec. Just shout out to TM Productions. You see he has a new channel. Want to give him a shout out. Always want to be fair to the creators. Sorry to cut you off, Sam, but definitely check out TM Productions if you're interested. It's T-Mobile news and 5G news. Sam, you got some competition now. But yes, let me give you some backstory. Dana White has come out, and before the retirement, he did say that he supports Ben and he still wants him to keep going. Ben went on Ariel's show after, and he did come out and said he doesn't know if he wants to do MMA. So there was some doubt planted in his head while making the decision. And when he announced his retirement, he did state, and we could watch it, but it would take up too much time. He did come out and say that I did have some problems with my hip, but I didn't want to use that as an excuse to make it look like, I just said this, it was a medical issue. He wanted to lose fair and square and then take care of his stuff after. So in a way, he's approaching this, but go ahead, continue.
I want to say, he is a good fighter. He's coming from a promotion that doesn't have a death row of killers at his weight class. The UFC's welterweight division is absolutely absurd.
It's top
Like
notch.
the talent at that division is so sick. You could be one of the 10 baddest dudes in the world and like you'll never sniff a title shot in the 170 division there. It's so competitive and it's so difficult. Death row, bro, seriously. And the last thing I'll say, and then you can kind of either close it out or kind of put whatever you want to put to it.
Of course, yes.
Ben Askren has a big mouth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's put himself in a position where he had to show and prove, and he wasn't able to do so. He's making the Robbie Lawler fight look like it was a mistake win. And that's probably what he's most bummed out about. He's like, man, all the haters are now, I've confirmed them. I can't beat anybody.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that I beat Robbie feels like maybe it's a fluke. Maybe. And I don't think it's a fluke. A win's a win in my book.
Yeah, it's same.
Right. You throw a punch, you land a punch. You get a choke, you squeeze the choke. It all has to be done.
And it was on the chin, so technically, any more pressure on the chin,
I don't
fractured.
But, I don't devalue his win, but like I'm saying, I'm surprised that he hasn't been able to get himself out of that rut. Most athletes can, at least publicly, they make it seem like they're getting through it. He, unfortunately, I think he's really struggling with the losses and the way that he's lost. And it's because he was built up by Dana and the whole trade thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And honestly, okay, so last thing. You were talking about the trade with Demetrius Johnson. That was a stupid trade by the UFC in the grand scheme of things. But at the time, it made sense because
at the time,
Meech wasn't getting much action in the pay-per-view buys. He wasn't really popular at the UFC. So it made perfect sense for him, perfect sense for one championships. Dana was moving on from him, and he's like, all right, I'll get a guy who he's got all this buzz, and everybody thinks he's going to win here, and it all made sense at the time.
I agree. Yeah. I'm actually going to close this. I will say some closing names, but I actually agree with a lot you said. With that said, though, I think personally, because I'm reading this article, Jorge Masvidal, this is actually one of the nicest things he's actually said about Askren, saying that he should not have retired, saying
he should not. I agree. He should not.
He says here, he says he brings in his own crowd. He has a standout in wrestling, and he did have a fan base. He did something over Bellator and in won. So he did have a crowd, and he brought it over with him. But what I don't like to see is we're fighters. We're supposed to fight. You've got 2 losses. It's not big. It's not big. It's no big deal, my brother. Get back on the high horse, get to work, and figure it out. So you see, there is some people saying you shouldn't really end it, and I agree. But you know what?
What if his heart's not in it, Mike?
That's it. That's what I'm about to say. But if you don't feel invested, because he has said he doesn't feel like it anymore, at that stage, you're just not doing it. So I think, though, overall, final thoughts, I think Askren, his career as a whole, if we look at his career as a whole, it was a good career. The man had 2 championships in 2 separate promotions, had good title defenses. He comes over to UFC. Okay, he wins against Robbie Lawler. Everyone says it's debatable, but I still think he would have won that fight even if the ref didn't stop it, because that choke was in tight, and it was tight. And honestly, safety comes first. The second loss, it was a tough loss. And to take on Damian Maia after that, I give him props, because Damian Maia, again, is an elite jiu-jitsu submission grappler. And again, he lost to that. But of course, we can't sit here and be like, oh, those 2 things tamed his legacy. Nah, he did well, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did.
The man's 35 years old. So you know what? Live your life, enjoy it. And he's a busy man. Outside of UFC and MMA, he's got wrestling camps that's going on. So you know what? He loves wrestling. He'll probably be the best at wrestling. And you know what?
You think he's done for good, bro? Like, if it's a situation where it's, he's a prisoner of the moment and this is all in haste, like, then that means he would like be like, well, I could always come back to it possibly in the future. But has he mentioned that? Has he leaned that way?
No, he's been saying that he needs surgery on his hip and that he is going for the operation. We don't know when he's going.
I'll tell you what, bro, invasive surgeries are difficult. And to a wrestler, I could see him why he's thinking
Yeah, he's thinking that.
retirement.
But
Yeah.
Michael Bisping has come out and said that, I've had surgeries on the hip. I think Michael Bisping, he said he kind of was able to come back.
Bro, Michael Bisping is an absolute animal, though.
Oh, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Michael Bisping is legit crazy. He lost his eye fighting and he still fought after that.
Oh,
Like he
absolutely.
doesn't
So,
he's one of those guys like you're talking about how like it's a situation where it's like you're supposed to be a fighter. Like that's Michael Bisping is the epitome of a fighter.
exactly. And I think that Bisping and everybody is trying to get him. There are some people saying that actually UFC will use him as a commentator. He may actually talk at the pay-per-views, do like what Dominic Cruz is doing. We don't know exactly where he stands right now, but we do know for a fact that he hasn't talked much about UFC or MMA. And look, all I'm going to say, because we're going to move on from this, I wish him nothing but the best of luck. Props to him. But overall, I just wish he hadn't have left so fast. But look, what can you do? That's life. So
Yeah.
now that we've got that out of the way, now let's get on to the predictions. So for 2020 is shaping out to be UFC's biggest grand scheme because there are a lot of matches, a lot of big things going on right now. Now, we already have Fight Night, which we're not going to really focus too heavily on. These are just pre-matches. We'll get to those later. But we're going to talk about the real headliners, things that have been going on for the past couple of days. Conor McGregor is returning. He is fighting Cowboy Cerrone in 2020. Jorge Masvidal is teasing a fight between Nick Diaz, and Nick Diaz has been coming out and saying that he wants to fight again. Then we also
Nick is fantastic, bro. I love Nick.
Then we've got Tony Ferguson and Khabib signing the contract. It is confirmed they are going to be fighting April 18th at Barclays Center, which I will be attending. I am dropping no matter how much money. I am going to that fight. David, you're not stopping me this time with financial reasons. But anyway, yeah, there is a lot going on. And also, don't forget, we also have the possible DC versus Miocic trilogy, which we don't know exactly when that's going to happen. But Dana White has said that it's going to happen in 2020. We don't know exactly when, but it is going
to be. Cormier has said he wants to fight before his 40th birthday. I believe his birthday is in the spring.
So it could be in the middle. We don't know exactly. And then also we've got to talk about the other divisions, bantamweight and flyweight, Senri Cejudo defending. So there's a lot to take in tonight. So we're going to just dive right in. So let's head into the biggest one. Honestly, there's no stopping it. It's Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone. That's the headline. Everybody's blowing it up. Honestly, we could talk about Tony, but this is not a predictions. This is not a predictions video because the card hasn't been set. So for all these fights that we're talking about, this is just what we predict for 2020 and what we see. We're not going to do any predictions because we don't even know the cards. We may do some ones for actual fights, but we're not going to do it for these. So Cowboy Cerrone, Conor McGregor. I messaged you the night it was confirmed. It was on Thanksgiving, and I said that it is a stupid fight, but I'm not going to say because of any bad reason. I think it's stupid for one reason, and one reason only. I think that Conor McGregor in welterweight is just setting up so much hype that it's not going to happen. And you already know where I'm going to go with this. But anyway, before we talk about what I mean by that, if you don't know, let's take a look at it. So I don't know why I'm using CNN right now. I guess they cover sports. I didn't know when the hell they did, but okay. So yes.
Well, Brett Okamoto is a very reputable source in terms of his tweets and stuff.
I'll let him go with Brett Okamoto. So yeah, so the fight is scheduled January 18th at welterweight. That was the turning point. Welterweight. That Conor's going back. This will be his third fight in welterweight from the time he fought Nate Diaz. And since Conor McGregor has been accustomed to the lightweight division and making the jump to welterweight will not be as hard as when he was in featherweight, from when he went to challenge Rafael, and then when Rafael dropped out, then Nate stepped in and he had to go to welterweight, all that crap. This will be a little more easier in transition. But I don't know, man. I'm not hyped for this fight. I'm just not. I'm not hyped for this one bit.
You aren't hyped for it, but I'm telling you that the Conor minions are ecstatic that he's back to fight.
Oh no. I'm not mad about
this
that.
Is right, and this is a fight where Conor is not going to get choked out. Probably.
Oh no, it's not going to be a choked out
fight. Cowboy will probably strike with him. He's more of a Muay Thai guy. His jiu-jitsu is good. I just don't see him engaging Conor in jiu-jitsu. I see him engaging it with knees and kicks and some stand-up. So not that I'm not excited. This does nothing for the division, in my personal opinion, but it is a fan fight.
Okay.
Fans will be excited, even though you and me don't see the value in the fight. We'll take it as just a fight that we'll enjoy to watch.
I thought this fight should have happened 4 years ago when Conor and Cowboy got into it that time.
Okay, but that fight would have been at 155.
Oh, that would have been fine because Cowboy was great. Listen, Ariel Helwani is the biggest kiss ass I've ever seen right now.
I hate his guts, bro. He sucks.
Literally, he is doing nothing but saying this is a fight for both men. Listen, I agree with one thing he says. Cowboy does not deserve the hate that he's getting. And I agree because Cowboy is great. So basically, a lot of people are saying that Cowboy is an easy opponent for Conor McGregor, saying that he's on his way out and that Conor will easily beat him in the
Conor hasn't won a fight since 2016.
I know. So I agree. I think Cowboy is not an easy opponent, and I definitely think Conor McGregor is going to have to really step it up because this is welterweight. This is not – now, obviously, you could argue –
it's about to be 2020. He hasn't won a fight in almost 4 years.
That's true.
Why are they Cowboy has won fights every year. Like, he literally fights 3-4 times a year, and he wins most fights. Like, why are they – wow, bro, that's disrespectful.
I agree. So I agree with Ariel on that extent. I do believe that the hate – that Cowboy is getting, because these fans, they have no respect for a legend. And I think Cowboy is a legend.
He is a legend, yes.
But with that said, though, there are some things that I kind of agree with. Some people are saying that Gaethje was in talks for a potential fight. Gaethje was in the situation. Dustin Poirier was in the talks, but then that never materialized. It was either down to Gaethje or Cowboy. It was those two.
Well, the reason it's – well, if it's Poirier – would it be at 155 or 170?
It would have been at 155 because Poirier is the number. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just lost the title. Well, he had like the interim title, right?
Yeah, he had the interim title.
Yeah, they don't want to give Conor that fight, man. If you give Conor that fight, that puts him right back against Khabib. No, bro.
Well, you know what it is though with Dustin though. Dustin fought Conor in the past, and obviously we remember that
was at 145.
That was 145.
That was years ago when both of them were
young.
Green. Right.
And now Dustin has a better record, in my opinion. And on top of that, he is the third ranked lightweight in the division. So making that fight would have made sense because you're putting Conor up against an actual threat. But of course, Dana White doesn't want that. And also, I think he was in surgery. I know he went for surgery. And then you had Gaethje. Everybody wanted Gaethje. And that is why people are doing the comparisons with Cowboy. That's where you start to hear the disrespect. Some people believe that Conor or Dana did not want to put him in that situation with a fighter who has so much momentum like Gaethje, because Gaethje's younger, he's quick, and honestly, everybody personally, in my opinion, I think Gaethje would have won, but we would never know because we're not going to see that fight. But that's why you start to hear these comparisons. But yeah, the Conor McGregor Cowboy Cerrone fight's happening. I understand it's a fan's fight, and you know what? I'm still going to go see it. I'm going to have a good time with this fight. I'm not going to debate it. But again, it doesn't do much, especially for Cowboy, because Cowboy's going to keep fighting. Cowboy's going to always keep bouncing back. Conor McGregor is not the elite fighter that he once was. Honestly, it doesn't take one fight to bring your name back. Everyone's saying this is a redemption for Conor McGregor. This is great. No, this is not redemption. Bullshit. This is not anything for Conor McGregor. This is just another payday for him. The only way I will see this as redemption is if he can actually beat somebody, a real welterweight. Because don't get me wrong, Cowboy's great, but we all know who we're talking about. That's when I said let into welterweight, speculations, and I don't think it's going to happen. Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, the trilogy, one of those guys, real welterweight fighters. But we're never going to see that because Jorge has challenged. See, that's the next thing that we're going to talk about predictions. Let's just transition right into it. Jorge Masvidal has come out now and started to challenge Conor, saying, put your money where your mouth is. Challenge me to a fight. And Conor has not said anything. Conor is just staying quiet because he knows he'll get his ass beat.
Jorge is a killer.
So, yeah.
He is a stone-cold killer. And I'd like to see that fight, but I don't think it ends good for Conor.
It doesn't. It will not end. That is why I'm saying everybody's speculating now. Oh, he's going up to a welterweight. He is going to fight Jorge. He's going to get that trilogy fight. It's a possibility with the trilogy fight. It is a possibility. But do I see him fighting Jorge? Hell no. Hell no. But Jorge is probably going to be in line for the UFC title after the Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington fight. Whoever wins that, I definitely think he's going to be in line. If he fights Nick Diaz, that'll actually be even better. So we got to wait and see on that. But where do you see Jorge Masvidal going into 2020? Because he is technically the BMF of UFC. So where does he go from there? Oh, okay. Well, I'll just wait till he gets back. But yeah, till Sam gets back, because I know he had to get something. But yeah, that is it for the fight. Now let's move on to the next prediction. You still there, Sam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. No, I forgot you had to get something, but I had to ask you, where do you see Jorge Masvidal going in 2020?
Man, he could do a lot. So he's basically the hottest commodity in the UFC because he's got star power, he's got marketability, he's got personality, and he's got the fight to back it up because he's literally knocking people's heads off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's the knockout artist. He is the guy with a story, the guy that they can market.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the look, bro. The look is like how would I describe him? He's almost got this like gangsterish.
East Coast gangster. East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is West Coast. I don't know what this gangster crap is.
But but he's also very likable.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a story that's like come from nothing, fought in the streets, took a long time to ascend to a superstardom, and he's not afraid of anybody.
And he knocked out a guy
every quality that you want in a fighter, you know.
And he set the record for the fastest knockout in UFC history. So he's
that knee was insane.
It was golden.
He went running across the cage and just
he didn't even run. He was walking, then ran. That's how awesome it was. He walked. He was like, "Okay, let's do this." Boom, Super Saiyan.
Bro, I've been a big fan of Jorge Masvidal for years.
I love
to see him finally, reach what he feels he deserves. I'm sure he's very satisfied. He feels like he's fulfilled, part of his goal or whatever. I don't know what his goals are, but he's here. He's arrived, and bro, like legit, if he's able to defend the title a few times, then he has the potential to go down as a legendary welterweight fighter. Because in that division, it's a death row. I'm telling you, bro. Like there are guys that are legit one of the top 20 fighters in the world, and they can't crack the top 15 in the UFC.
And Jorge Masvidal right now, and look at this article. Look at this. McGregor just put wheels in motion. What were we just talking about? But look where this article is coming from. The South China Morning Post. Ignore that. We're going to move on. Nah, we're not going there. All right. So, yeah, Jorge Masvidal 2020. Right now, I do believe he's going to be in line for a title contendency after the Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington fight. It only makes sense because he is on a winning streak. He's beaten Darren Till. He has beaten Ben Askren. He's beaten Nate Diaz. He's the BMF. So I think the momentum is riding on him for the next title fight. But obviously that could change. There could be other guys before him. But I think it would make sense for him to go for the title. I don't know. That's where I see him going, getting a title shot. And if
so what's next for Kamaru Usman? Is it what's Colby?
It's Colby, and then we don't even know what's next.
And then Jorge, he's got the BMF title, right? Is he going to defend BMF title?
That's a good question. That's actually, you know what? Let's add that in. What is his?
Because he doesn't have the real title. He has he doesn't have a ranked title. He just
he doesn't have it. This is more of a fans thing,
right?
So this would be more of a fans fight.
But he's looked as a champion. Like when
when
you get a belt like that.
See, look at this. Look at this. It says it right here. Okay, fine. This is Wikipedia. But still, he won the UFC BMF title, which was created specifically for his fight against Nate Diaz. So it is considered him as a champion, but we got to wait and see. So now let's move into the next thing because we want to keep going here. We got some momentum riding. Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. The contract is signed. The contract is set in motion. This fight's happening.
I love it.
We are going to see the fight. And it's going to be in my hometown of Brooklyn that I'm buying tickets for. I swear, I'm going. I don't care how much I got to drop. 1K, 2K, 500, 400. I am going to this fight on the night that the pre-sale goes live, I will be up. Pre-sale, not general sale, pre-sale. And I don't give a shit where I sit. I don't give a fuck if I'm all the way at the top. I'm going to see Khabib. If I could see Khabib once and
hold on, bro.
Ferguson,
Let's get this fixed though. His name is Habib.
I'm American, mofo. I say
What do you mean?
Khabib.
I'm American too.
But you got that little that slang in you. I'm saying Khabib. Khabib. Or Habib. Okay, fine.
It's
Habib.
Yes. Bro, you can do it, bro. You got it.
Okay, how about this? I'm gonna just say Habib.
Okay, now you're getting all throaty with it. All right, fine.
Habib. Yeah, there we go. But seriously, okay, so where were we? Okay, so this is officially happening. This is the 5th time, the same amount of people watching this live stream. The 5th time this fight is gonna happen. 4th time. Yeah, there were 4 attempts at this fight.
I remember 3. Where was the 4th one?
Let me show you. See it here. This is 1, 2. Where's the article? Here. I'm gonna pull it up here. So it says here, this marks the 5th time that the UFC put together a fight. Each of the previous occasions have been derailed. Twice because of Ferguson's injuries, once because of Nurmagomedov's injury, and one because of Nurmagomedov's trouble with his weight cut.
The tiramisu, right?
Tiramisu time, bitches. I'm gonna love this fight. But seriously though, 5th time. Personally, UFC, if you're watching this, you need to wrap these guys up in bubble wrap and just wait for April 18th. We got to keep these guys healthy. I want this fight. Khabib, okay, Khabib is at the prime right now. He is 28-0. Tony is the best in the lightweight division. These guys are kind of in their prime. They're in their prime. This is everyone says, oh, this should have happened in the past. That
they tried.
They tried. Yeah, they tried like 4 times. This is the 5th time.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not predicting this fight, but I do want to say, if Khabib wins this fight, which all fingers are pointing, he's going to win, but we will explain later in predictions why it may not be an easy victory, but that is until the card is officially set. If Khabib wins, where does he go from 2020? What is next for him? Because obviously, at some point, you're reaching 30-0. You're reaching that pinnacle of where most fighters have not been able to reach. And this is where your legacy becomes not only becomes like a prize in your view, but this is what makes you stand out from the crowd. 28 men have stepped up in his whole career, not UFC, whole career. 28 men have stepped up and 28 men have fallen. And very few men have been able to go the distance with Khabib. And the only man, to recent knowledge, to ever go the distance with Khabib is Ali Quenta.
Bro, he fought him great, bro. Wow.
And that was a great fight.
On short notice, too. Ali Quenta is a beast, bro.
Although he's got a little rocky road ahead for Ali Quenta, I still think he's got some potential going still. I think Ali Quenta's not done yet. But still, Tony Ferguson and Khabib. This could go 2 ways. We all know the possibilities. But the thing is, this is not a predictions. So we're going to do a what-if scenario. What happens if Khabib loses? What happens if Khabib wins? So let's start with the obvious. What happens if he wins? Because obviously we could get into it, we could talk about it, but we don't know the rest of the card. We don't know anything about it, and it would be too early to predict this fight because we don't even know anything else. So I'm going to hold off from saying who I think is going to win and break it down. But what would happen if Khabib wins? Where does he go from here? Who does he fight? And will he move up to welterweight? What is he going to do?
All right, so if we go to the welterweight rankings, I'll just kind of read them off for you guys.
I'll pull them up here.
I mean lightweight. We need lightweight rankings. So if you look at the top 5, Donald Cowboy Cerrone is still in the top 5 of the lightweight division. He's not getting a title shot. Justin Gaethje probably wants and deserves a title shot, but he'll have to win his next match to get a title shot, at least a contender shot. Poirier just lost to Khabib. So if Khabib wins, obviously he wants to get to 30-0. He's got to fight somebody, which
I think Gaethje. I think it's got to be Gaethje.
It's either going to be Gaethje, or I guess you could make the argument for a Conor rematch. But honestly, I don't want the Conor rematch.
I don't either.
I don't think it changes anything. I think it's going to be the same fight. I honestly and truthfully believe that Conor wants no parts of Habib anymore.
Oh
And
yeah.
if he says otherwise, he's lying and he's
Oh
being
yeah.
disingenuous. So honestly, the Ferguson fight, if Habib loses, that changes everything. But I think it's
Oh
the Ferguson fight if he wins, and then it's either Habib versus Conor because that's what they want, or if Justin Gaethje wins his next match, whoever it's against, go ahead and throw him in there for a title shot because Gaethje is absolutely electric. He is a brute brawler, and his fights are exciting. He is going to be knocked out, or he is going to knock somebody out, and that's kind of what you want if you're the UFC.
oh, absolutely. Because if you look at the rankings, if we take it's at the top 15. You look at these fighters. Half of them he's already fought. Ali Quenta, Edson Barbosa, Anthony Pettis. I don't know if you could throw him in the mix. Pettis hasn't been on the winning rails, so don't know about
No,
Pettis.
it's you just got to look at the top 5 and say,
Yeah,
well, who else could he fight? And he's 28-0 now, right?
28 no, and it could be 29 to no if he beats
So
Ferguson.
if he beats Ferguson, that's 29, and then if he fights Gaethje or Conor again, whatever that match might end up being, then that puts him at 30, and he defended his title 4 or 5 times. Then you could argue his career is set in stone. He could
Yeah,
retire
he could.
undefeated.
I think that'd be the smartest thing for Habib because if he retires at 30 and 0, there's nothing left to prove. You could go up to welterweight, but we all know, in my opinion
And just
anyway.
so you know, this guy does not care about money. He is
Oh
not
no, yeah.
fighting for
This
money.
is about
I mean,
legacy.
yeah, he's a different type of cat, bro. These guys from Dagestan, they're not
It's
like
Dagestan. Now
yeah,
you got the slang. Now I'm gonna teach you Dagestan.
my bad, bro.
Oh
My bad,
yeah.
bro. My bad, bro.
All right, let's keep going. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
I regardless of what he ends up deciding he wants to do, what I do know about Habib is that he's not going to be bullied. He's not going to be told what to do. He listens to his father, who is also his manager and his mentor. And I think his stint in the UFC, if he wins out these next like 2 fights, retiring early at 30-0 is a legit thing. If he loses anywhere in there, then I think he probably hangs around for a few more fights.
Probably. And even if he loses, there's no shame. The man has one of the longest acting streaks in the sport. So
I'll tell you what, bro. If you look at that list of fighters in the top 15,
Mhm.
if you give me $1 million, I'll fight everybody on that list except Habib. I will not. I don't know if it's just pride. I don't know if I legit think I might die. I don't want to be at the bottom, bro.
Oh
And
yeah.
not being like I weigh more than Habib if he's cutting weight. But once he gets back up to like 185 pounds after he cuts weight or whatever, he probably gets back up to 175 legit.
Oh yeah. I don't
And
even
he's
know.
closer to I'm literally terrified. I don't want to fight any of those guys actually. But I'm just saying $1 million, but I don't know if I'd ever be the same because I'm dead serious, bro. Edson Barbosa will never be the same
Oh
after
no.
the mauling that Habib put on him.
Yeah, and Dustin Poirier will never be the same. Oh,
Nah,
maybe
Dustin
Dustin
hung in there,
actually
bro.
no,
Come
no
on.
Dustin. Well, Dustin did hang in there, but we all kind of knew he wasn't going. That guillotine though was a pretty impressive guillotine by Dustin. I still say. So the
He
only
almost
real
had it,
thing
bro.
for Habib is just Tony, maybe Gaethje or Connor. Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, and then we'll move on from Habib, and then we'll move to welter. Well, obviously we took care of welterweight. Then we'll move into the other weight classes. We'll discuss some things, but all I'm going to say is this. Habib is a fighter that many people should be looking at as an inspiration. I think he is more of an inspiration to people because of his character, because of who he is. And if you look at most of these fighters on this list, with the exception of maybe the women's division, because the women's division, they're all great fighters down there. Most of them only fight because they just want to get the money. And Habib has proven that he is not a money fighter. He is a true fighter, a great fighter. And honestly, I would not be mad if he said, I want to retire at 30 and 0. I wouldn't be mad. The man's accomplished everything. He's done everything. He's had one hell of a career. And his last fight, as crazy as it is, realistically, it would have to be Conor McGregor. But it would have to be And as stupid as Connor makes it sound, it does make sense for him to retire in his hometown of Russia. So it would make sense. So for me,
Dagestan.
Yes. I would have to say Conor McGregor would have to be that fight for him if he was to retire 30-0 in Dagestan, Russia. That's what I think.
Bro, can I just mention something really quick about these rankings, these pound
Yes.
for pound? Like, they got John Jones as the number 1 pound for pound fighter.
That's bull.
Like, why, when you have a guy like Khabib who can't lose, you have a guy like Henry Cejudo who holds 2 belts in 2 different divisions.
We're going to get to him in a second.
And then you have Stipe, who is legit, like, okay, so he's the heavyweight champion. He avenged his loss, and he beat probably the most celebrated heavyweight fighter ever. And then Amanda Nunes, who is legit, like, one of the scariest people on the planet. I'm not even going to have the argument that it's a lady fighter or a male fighter. It doesn't matter. She literally throws bombs with her hands. He has it like he doesn't even fight, bro.
His most recent fight with Thiago Santos was...
He's spent as much time suspended with the UFC as he's actually been on the active roster. These rankings are absolutely absurd, and they become devalued when John Jones is number 1 pound for pound. Ridiculous, bro. Like, Max Holloway will fight in like 3 different divisions. Cejudo's a champion in 2. So is Nunes.
Yeah, Nunes.
Cormier, like, this is absurd, bro. This dude, bro, I'm done, man. That's it.
We'll move on from that. Now let's talk about Henry Cejudo. That's what we're going to get into. So 2020 is looking to be a big year for the Triple C. Yes, I'm going to actually call him the Triple C. So question that remains, apparently Cejudo has called out a couple of people that he wants to fight in the bantamweight. He has called out Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz. Obviously,
why Uriah Faber, bro?
For some reason, Uriah is still relevant, and I don't know.
This is terrible.
There was actually some people defending Uriah in the last video, which we'll take a look back after. There are people defending Uriah, but anyway, he has called out a couple people. I forgot who he called out in flyweight. I think Joseph Benavidez, which is obviously the front runner for the flyweight title. What goes for Cejudo? Because there is a little bit of drama with him and Dana White over some money issues, and Cejudo has pretty much cemented himself as a great all-around fighter in any weight class, in my opinion. Took down TJ Dillashaw, right? And even TJ Dillashaw, who's a piece of shit, he still beat him. He's beaten Marlon Moraes for the bantamweight, for the vacant flyweight. He's beaten Demetrius Johnson. I think he beat him twice. Did he beat him twice?
I know about when he took the title from him.
I know he took the title. I can't tell if he beat him twice. I gotta look back at that. It's been a while.
I don't think so.
But Henry Cejudo has proven to be a quality fighter. But there was one of them. Now, this is one I just mentioned. I actually would be interested in a bantamweight matchup between him and Dominic Cruz. But I don't think it's going to happen because Dominic is, look, I love Dominic Cruz. I think, in my opinion, Dominic Cruz is one of the best bantamweights ever. Because when TJ Dillashaw got called out on all that bullshit that he did, I was thinking to myself, okay, now I can say Dominic Cruz was the best bantamweight because Dominic Cruz was a great fighter. But the problem is he keeps getting injured, and I don't know if he can stay healthy enough to challenge, especially Henry Cejudo. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But I would definitely like to see Dominic Cruz get back in the octagon and take on Henry Cejudo, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So Dominic Cruz is a fun fighter. He's got a big mouthpiece. He's a very skilled fighter. He's very injury prone. A lot of people will be up and down on Dominic Cruz like the weather because of that. You're not going to get knockouts from Dominic Cruz. He's a fast mover. His feet never really plant. He's always kind of on his toes. Cejudo will throw bombs. Cejudo's always looking for a finish. Dominic Cruz is more of a round and a point guy. I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but Dominic Cruz should probably retire, bro.
I think he kind of is because he hasn't really talked.
Yeah, like he's got that whole thing going on with like the announcing. And
yes,
stuff.
He's doing great on the announcing.
He's had torn ACLs and bad luck. I don't know, man. If he's going to continue to fight, I'm sure he represents a formidable opponent for Cejudo. He's going to be a lot bigger than Cejudo, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
That distance is going to be something fierce. I would say his reach, if it's not 5 inches, it might be 6 or 7 inches advantage. Cruz, like Cruz is going to have a hard weight cut, making 135. Cejudo can make 125 pretty easily. So a bantamweight fight at 135 clearly gives Dominic Cruz an edge in size. But man, I don't know.
There was another person he called out. I forgot to mention Cody Garbrandt, but we haven't seen Cody Garbrandt in so long.
Bro, he's been doing a whole lot of losing. He hasn't really evolved as a fighter. For the way that he lost to TJ, he basically lost by being reckless. So TJ Dillashaw has power for the division, and he knows that, when you look at Garbrandt, he's kind of an emotional fighter. Garbrandt did put a whooping on Dominic Cruz, though.
Oh, yeah, he took the belt from Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, so we've seen Garbrandt, really do great things, and then we've seen, I don't know. And I root for Garbrandt, there's a lot to like there.
Oh, yeah, he's another one of those good fighters.
But there's something about TJ that just, it psychs him out, or it's that whole beef with the whole Uriah thing and all that. Yeah, bro. I don't know, the snake thing and all that.
Yeah, I remember that. Connor gave him the snake name. It was Snake in the Grass. So honestly, though, before he got called out with all that crap that he was doing, TJ, because that's another thing I want to talk about. TJ obviously has been suspended. Now, I think you know this. I'm going to keep these rankings here. I'm going to pull up a new tab. But TJ is suspended. He is not coming back anytime sooner. And a lot of people are saying that if he comes back, if he does manage to, keep it clean, he comes back, I think his suspension is like a 2-year suspension. So he may
they need to be lifetime bans for substance abuse, for performing enhancing drugs.
I can't speak on that because I need to go into the full detail of an extent, obviously. And I know what he did, EPO. So I think it's possible that a lifetime ban should have been considered. But look, he got 2 years. But now people are starting to say that if he somehow manages to come back, he's 35 years old. He's already starting to get out of his prime. And he's been away from the game 2 years. Come back. And obviously you lost to Henry Cejudo, so you're not getting a title shot when you come back.
Right.
But should he come back at all? Because, your legacy's been tainted.
He'll come back, bro. I mean, how many guys are willing to do something else for a lot less money? These guys, bruh.
No, but he's not a light fighter, though. The TJ is just – even when people cheered him, they don't like TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw is just – fans don't like him.
I liked him in the early days, and then I started liking him a lot less, and then I started not liking him, period.
Yeah, so there is no there's no favoritism in him anywhere. So right. I don't know if he should come back. I think if he does, he should probably stay at bantamweight. That's the best thing to do. And who knows? Maybe redeem himself, build himself back up. Because
look at who he's got to beat, though. Look what he's got to beat. If you look at the division,
Morris.
He's gonna have to, bro. He's gonna probably start in the bottom, with somebody that's top 15. But
look at you.
They'll probably give him.
They'll probably give him number 12.
They'll probably give him a Rob Font, a Marlon Vera, somebody like that. And if he wins that, they'll probably give him a Jimmy Rivera, a Rafael Assunção, maybe. Right. And then they'll probably put him up against an Aljamain Sterling or a Marlon Moraes. And then so he'll legit have to win 4 fights.
Oh, yeah. Before
probably to get back to Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
And Cejudo, of course, I mean, if he was to lose, then that just throws a monkey into the whole thing. Monkey wrench in there.
Because then Dillashaw could definitely come back if Cejudo loses the bantamweight. But I don't know. We don't even know. But right now, I think Dillashaw just got to keep doing his suspension. And then when he comes back, if he ever does, we'll see what happens there. But by that time, I think he'll be out of his prime, and he won't be able to be what he once was. And that's just.
And I don't see Dominic Cruz mentioned in there in that top 15. So
that's the idea. They're saying that he probably is retired. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. And also let's not take it to effect because we've actually got to talk about 2 things. We're almost done. We got a few more weight classes to go through. Featherweight. Two featherweights are going down to bantamweight: Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo. Now, before we talk about Max Holloway and where he goes if he beats Alexander Volkanovski, Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar, between the two, do you think any of them are going to make a splash in the bantamweight division?
Jose Aldo wants to go to bantamweight.
He is. He's going. It's 246. Remember, we covered it.
Oh,
He's taking
that's
the weight
such a
cut.
hard. That's such a hard weight cut. I don't know how he's going to do it. All right. Well,
But between
I
the
mean,
two, Frankie Edgar, because Frankie Edgar is fighting in bantamweight in the
these
first place.
guys, these guys are so advanced in their careers. They're all in the back end. They're
Mhm.
going into a weight cut that's fiercer than they've ever had. I mean, they must be really confident in the whole thing. I would be surprised if 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 one of them didn't have issues making weight. Maybe it's easier for Frankie. I don't know, maybe. I feel like 145 was really easy for him to do. I'm not sure how hard the weight cut was for Jose Aldo, but that weight cut's going to be tough. And plus, you also got to keep in mind when you go down in weight classes, these fighters in that division, they get a lot faster. And being that they're in the advanced ages, right, or the later years of their career, they're in the twilight. So, that means they're going to be a little bit slower than some of these younger guys. So, take for example, if you put Jose Aldo up against, I don't know, let's look at somebody in the top 10. Not even, yeah, top 10. Put him up against a John Dodson. Dodson's going to be faster than both. Put him up against a Jimmy Rivera.
You know who
Faster
he's
than both.
fighting? Do you know who
Who?
he's fighting?
Who?
Number one ranked.
Who's
Jose,
fighting number one ranked?
Jose Aldo. He's fighting Marlon Morris.
Wow, Marlon Moraes has everything to lose there, and Jose Aldo has everything to gain.
That's his entrance fight. And Frankie Edgar, I forgot who he's fighting. I gotta look back. We'll probably look back.
Marlon Moraes has power and he's fast. That's a tough matchup, but I do like Aldo there. I do.
I think like I said, look, Aldo has proven himself at featherweight.
Very
That's
good
probably
hands,
why
very good kicks. Yeah, he'll be in there, bro.
I think he poses a bigger threat to Henry Cejudo. But again, we gotta see how he adjusts to the bantamweight. And
Well, he's
when
going to
you
be huge for the weight class, man.
well, he's a big name. And Aldo,
Yeah.
how old is Aldo? Let's see real fast. How old is he? He's got to be getting old because
Yeah, he's up there, bro.
he was at the pinnacle. See, he's the number 3 featherweight. He's 28-4, but how old is he? Does this thing show his age? I don't think it does.
They usually don't, but if you just go to like a wiki.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I'll look it up here. But yeah, Jose Aldo, he's getting okay. Here it is. Oh no, he's actually still young. Jesus, he's 33. He's still got a few more years to
Bro,
go.
he's got a lot of mileage though.
Yeah, he could keep going. So maybe his body may wear down at some point because he's had 30 plus fights, but still 33 years old. I thought he was older. So props there. So yeah, Aldo I think will probably adjust better. I don't know about Frankie. I love Frankie. I think he's got good health in his body. He has very good
I love Frankie. Frankie's the big homie, man. He's the best.
Oh, Frankie definitely is. But the thing is with Frankie,
He's from your neck of the woods, by the way. He's from New
Oh.
Jersey kid.
I know. But the thing is with Frankie, he's almost 40 years old. He's 38, so he's getting up there. And he's fighting. He is fighting, literally. He's fighting the 3rd ranked of the bantamweight division. So I don't know about Frankie, but we're going to have to wait and see. And that fight is actually in the beginning of the year. So that's the first fight night
That's
of 2020.
Corey Sandhagen.
Sandhagen. And he's impressive in bantamweight.
is.
Take a look
He
at
is.
I've seen a few fights from him, and he is very good. Look at this,
is very
11-1.
He's a good fighter, bro.
So I don't know if Frankie's going to put that second loss in there, but it's going to be tough for him. Now let's get into featherweight because we got to speed this up a little bit. So featherweight, Max Holloway, if he successfully retains the title, which it looks more possible that he may actually against Alexander Volkanovski, what is next for him?
Zabit.
I was thinking Zabit. I think Zabit is going to be next, and I actually think Zabit will beat Holloway because Zabit is.
Whoa!
Well, we can't. Well, actually, you know what? We can't go there yet. We can't really go there because we don't even know if we're going to fight.
I disagree.
What?
I disagree. I don't think Zabit can beat Max.
You know what? We saved this for another time. Save this for another time. Now's not the time. But hold that train of thought. So
Okay.
yeah, we do agree though. Zabit should definitely be next in line.
Yeah.
We definitely
Oh, yeah.
agree.
Yes.
And assuming that Holloway is still gonna, because Holloway is the king of the featherweights at this point. He
Yeah,
is
man.
he is great. But let's assume that Alexander Volkanovski somehow gets the upset and does get the victory. Just assume. What is up for that young man? What is going to be for him?
For which one?
Alexander Volkanovski, if he wins.
If he wins,
If he
I
wins.
mean, then it's take on all comers. It's take on Brian Ortega. It's take on Jose Aldo. It's take on Frankie or Yair or whoever's in the top 5. He has to fight because Max has one by one been beating everybody in the division. It literally got to the point where Max took a fight at 155.
Well, it's true. I remember Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, so he did lose to Poirier, but he was in the fight every step of the way.
It got to the 5th round. It got to the decision.
Yeah, so it may have just been a situation where just Poirier's pressure, Poirier's size. Max Holloway's a 145. He's fighting at 155. Maybe it was just too much. Poirier was a champion. I mean, yeah, Alexander, he's gonna have to fight everybody.
Yeah.
Probably starting with Ortega because.
Oh yeah, Ortega.
Well, actually, no, not necessarily Ortega, but he
What
probably
about
has to
Yair
fight.
Rodriguez?
He probably has to fight Zabit.
Well, Zabit definitely, because Zabit.
Yeah, he probably has. I think whoever is going to be in contender fights and championship fights has to fight Zabit. I think he's got to get in on this.
We agree Zabit definitely deserves his role. And he's from Dagestan too, you know that, right?
Yeah, he's like isn't he Habib's like second cousin or something?
I don't know about that. I gotta look into that. But yeah, like take it, like look at the rankings. So let's say Jose gets kicked out and he moves to bantamweight and wins that fight and gets up on the bantamweight. Zabit will automatically go to the 3rd rank. He will automatically be brought to 3rd. Brian Ortega will probably just stay there because I haven't seen, because Ortega's fighting too. He's actually fighting, so we'll see how he does. And I think he's fighting the Korean Zombie, I think.
This should be a good fight.
That is gonna be. And yeah, so Zabit is definitely next in line. Now our debates will collide another time. But I do agree Zabit is next. But Zabit is a good fighter. And he definitely has come a long way. I like his skills.
We haven't seen him in a 5-round fight, really.
Well, we got to see. That's the thing.
Against a top-tier fighter. We'll see.
Now, we did cover welterweight a little bit, but we got to brush this real fast because we're almost at the hour mark. So let's go a little fast with this one. So Kamaru Usman, assuming that he defeats Colby Covington, we have said that Jorge Masvidal will probably be in line because the next one is Tyron Woodley, and Tyron Woodley will probably be after Jorge. Because let's assume that Jorge does lose or whatever. But Kamaru Usman, if he loses to Colby Covington, I think he's going to get Jorge Masvidal. And yeah, that's where I stand at that.
I think Jorge's earned the opportunity to fight for a title. Probably not more so than Colby up to this point. As much as I feel like Colby's disingenuous and a fake and a fraud when it comes to that whole heel thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just horrible acting. And I just don't really, but he's a good fighter. Like he puts a lot of pressure and, he makes for a good fight. So, and there's a bit of a,
wait, you know what's crazy? I just realized Ben Askren was literally in the top 15 a week ago. He's gone. And look who's number 6.
Damian Maia.
Damian's
always going to be a gatekeeper. He's always been like that. I mean, he did fight for the title once and lost. So,
we'll see where he goes from there. But yeah, Jorge Covington. Jorge has come out and actually said that he would like to fight Colby even if he doesn't win. So there's always a possibility of those two colliding for a title.
Becomes like a contender kind of.
Become a contender fight. I honestly don't know where that's gonna go, but we'll see about that. But yeah, so Kamaru right now he's got to go through Covington. We've already said what we've had to say about that, and that's all we got for welterweight. Now let's move on. We've got 3 more weight classes. The women I'll separate these for another time. We'll do a part 2 because this is actually taking up a little longer than I thought, and I kind of want to save a little more. So we'll do a part 2 in the future if that's okay with you. We'll talk about the women's, and then we will talk about a few other things that come up at the time. But anyway, middleweight. I definitely think Yoel Romero is going to be. I 100% think that's going to be the next fight for him.
Yoel Romero is a killer. He is viciously explosive. He's a freak athlete. as is Israel Adesanya. I'd love to see that fight.
Mhm.
Paulo Costa, though, can't be ignored. The dude is on a rampage. He is literally like finishing everybody.
That's
So,
true.
in my opinion, take your pick. I think everybody that's in the top 5,
Our
with
pro.
the exception of Darren Till,
Yes,
I don't think Darren Till has what it takes to beat any of those other guys in the top 5.
at least not
My
right
personal,
now.
I know he beat Kelvin Gastelum on
Yeah,
a decision, but
we
I
got to wait and see how he breaks
his
into the full
yeah,
division.
bro, Darren Till's ascension through middleweight, I think it's just too much too soon.
Well, we
But it's
got to see.
fine, whatever. I'd like to see the Whitaker fight, the Paulo Costa fight, the Yoel
Mhm.
Romero fight. All those for Israel would be
Yoel
fine.
Romero is going to definitely be a tough one, especially for Israel. And Israel, everyone said, "Oh, he has no power." Did you see what he did to Robbie Whitaker?
Bro, that boy good, bro. I don't know what they're talking
I
about.
don't know what the
They
hell.
probably have never been in a fight. Anybody who says like a guy like Israel Adesanya doesn't have power,
Hmm.
I go ahead and eat one of those elbows or kicks and tell me he doesn't have power.
Oh yeah, look what happened to Robbie Whitaker. He was saved by the bell. Literally saved by the
Bruh.
bell. It would have been a first round knockout.
Right, right.
Now we get to light heavyweight. Now John Jones is fighting Dominic Reyes, I believe.
Yeah,
Uh,
whatever.
so that's obviously going to be a retaining. But right now in the rankings, the next possible fight for John Jones, because we don't even know where he's going in this direction. We don't even know exactly where he's heading. Everyone's saying Corey Anderson. Some are saying a rematch with Thiago Santos. Some people are suggesting somebody from heavyweight, like somebody from heavyweight. I forgot who was going to. I don't know. Somebody was talking about the.
They want the Stipe fight.
They want the Stipe fight, or even middleweight. Israel move up to light heavyweight or whatever. So I don't think he could. I think he wants Jones to go down to middleweight, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Jones can't make middleweight. No
Mm-mm.
way he could make it. I
But
don't think so.
Israel could probably make light heavyweight. He could probably.
Yeah, he'd be giving up a lot of size though.
Oh,
A lot of real weight. You know, like John Jones probably walks around like 230,
mhm.
235.
But right now for John Jones, we're going to see him fight Dominic Reyes. You never know. Dominic Reyes may actually beat him, but of course we got to do our predictions later on that. But not in this video. We'll save that for part 2.
Okay.
Corey Anderson is definitely going to be in title contention. He is in the top 5, even with that loss to Corey Anderson. I still think at the end of the day, John Jones, you know what, honestly, there's really not much to say about John Jones. That's just John Jones. There's really not much you could say. And then the last one, heavyweight. So now we got Stipe.
Stipe!
Love Stipe.
CLE, baby, 216.
Now, obviously, the biggest one that we do know is happening, Daniel Cormier. We know the trilogy fight's happening. That'll probably be Daniel's last fight as well, because I think Daniel did say he wants that fight before he retires and before his 40th birthday. I actually want to see Francis Ngannou get a title shot. I want to see Ngannou get a title shot because he has been amazing. That man has power. Derek Lewis, he had a title shot against Daniel Cormier, but I don't think he could get one for a while. Although he did get his comeback win. He's got to prove himself a little more. Junior Dos Santos, that's a tough one. Don't know about Junior Dos Santos. But honestly, for Stipe, what could be said for him? I think it's definite. We're getting the Daniel Cormier fight. We're getting that. We're gonna definitely get that.
You've already seen the Francis Ngannou fight. I don't know if he's fought Curtis Blades. I don't think so. He lost to JDS and then beat him.
Be a trilogy there.
He beat Alistair to defend his title. I saw the fight. It was in Cleveland, so I know. And Derek Lewis is not championship material. He's not a very diversified fighter. His cardio is questionable.
What about Volkov?
Are you talking about, Alexander Volkov? Derek beat him, so I think that keeps him out of title contention. So
well, he's tied at 6 with Alistair over him.
The rankings don't mean anything to me when it comes to matchmaking. So if Junior Dos Santos was to get a big win, that puts him into contention. I actually think a rematch with Francis for Stipe is what makes sense for the division because Francis has gotten better. When Francis fought Stipe, he was not as experienced. He wasn't as skilled. It's been like probably almost 3 years.
Yeah,
since he fought. So like, yeah. So to me, if it hasn't been 3 years, maybe 2 years, he's probably evolved a lot. He wants to win and he wants the fight. So depending on what happens with the Cormier rematch, if Stipe was to win, Cormier retires. I think the Ngannou rematch happens.
Oh, okay. I agree. So Ngannou, we agree. And that's it for predictions for the UFC 2020 Part 1. I didn't think we were going to need a Part 2, but of course we do see the women's, so we're going to have to take some time for them. And then we'll talk about some predictions for that. But since we've reached the hour mark, we're going to do the little bonus segment, and then we're going to go. For the bonus segment, we're going to react. This was actually made by you. So, guys, in the past, him and I have done a couple of videos where we picked fights, and we'd never really looked back at them to see which one of us came close. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pull up the videos. We're going to take a look at these videos, and we're going to see which one of us came close to whatever we did. So let's see the most recent one. Well, we can't do 245 because 245 is not here yet. So let's go to 244. All right. Now, let me know if you can hear it. I am going to pull it up on the screen. I forgot the timestamp. Oh, sorry. There we go. So I forgot the timestamps. Okay, that's my annoying ass voice. So let's find. Okay, so first fight. Derek Lewis, Volkanovski. So I'm just gonna try to rush it. I'm gonna see where we were with that. Do you remember who you picked for this fight?
It was Derek Lewis and who else?
Ooh, it's not loading. Give it a couple of seconds. It was Derek Lewis.
Was it Bogov or whatever his
I think
name
it was
was?
Bogov. I think it was. This is not loading. Let's take a couple seconds. Notice how we changed in literally just a few months. That's crazy. That is crazy.
We changed. We did.
Here,
Didn't Derek win?
Derek won the fight by split decision. I picked.
I
Derek
feel like
Lewis.
I took the other guy.
Yeah, so I picked Derek Lewis, and you picked Balgov because I heard you saying that he was going to get on top of Lewis, which never happened, by the way. So
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I got to rewatch it. It's been a while.
Okay, rewatch it. He was there, bro.
But there was a couple of
Derek
times when
won that
Lewis
fight.
stumbled him.
Yeah, Derek won the fight, but I mean,
It is what it is. Now the next fight,
it did
Corey
play out like
Anderson.
I thought it would.
True.
Okay.
That's true. Now Corey Anderson, Johnny Walker.
I was way wrong on this one. I took Walker. You took Corey Anderson, and he won.
Yeah.
He got the knockout.
I'm gonna play it from here.
Well, I gotta rub it in, bro.
That's what happens. I picked him, but I picked him for the wrong reasons. I picked him because I just said that Corey Anderson, I believe, because of just the injuries. I didn't look at it from a skills perspective. I just thought injuries, but I probably should have just changed my mind and just went, Mavericks in the house. Did not realize this was on. Yeah, so that's weird. Somebody said that there was no notifications. To everybody watching this on replay, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to be alerted. I think that's a problem on YouTube's end. So so you picked Johnny Walker, so I'm two for 0 right now. Sorry. All right, next fight we called. I don't remember who I picked for the women's fight. Signal's a little weak down here, so it's gonna take a couple of seconds. Sorry about this, man.
I did take Masvidal.
Yeah, I took Diaz. So
Yeah,
you got Masvidal. So we're 2-1 right there. Whose fight is this? It was Kaylin and Jennifer. Who won this fight?
I don't know.
Let's see who we picked.
I wonder if is that Damian Maya's wife?
I don't know.
Chikagan.
I'm trying to find out where we picked.
Man, we got to next time we just got to write these down.
Yeah, next time we're going to definitely write these down. We're writing these down.
We'll just make like a running Google Doc or something of all of our picks.
And then we picked Stephen Thompson and Vince. I picked Stephen Thompson. I know for a fact I picked Stephen Thompson. I know I definitely did.
Did I take Vicente or did I take Stephen Thompson also?
You'll see.
I feel like I took Stephen Thompson also, but I guess I may have taken
Let's see where
Vicente.
let's see where you go.
But Stephen Thompson won big time.
Oh, that was a great fight. That was a great fight.
Yeah, he looked pretty good actually.
Stephen Thompson is a golden boy. Anytime he's in New York, he always balls out. That man is great. Then we had the Darren Till and Kevin Guslam. I
took Gastelum.
Yeah, you took Gaslam. I took Darren Till because I said I liked how he looked, like his physique in the middleweight, because I remember I was seeing images. And then obviously the last fight, Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. I picked Diaz, you picked Masvidal. So overall, I was pretty close. So
yeah, you were way right. I was only right on the. I was only right on one.
Oh, God.
I literally feel like I was only right on one.
Well, don't worry. You got a chance to redeem yourself here with the Kamaru Usman fight. We'll take a look at that after. There's another one we did in the past. Let's take a look. Did we actually do anything after that? I'm actually not too sure. Let me see. So we did 244. Did we do 243? I don't know. Let me see. No, we actually did not. So, okay, that was literally the only one that you and I ever did. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we got to start doing more like we're doing now. There it is. But yeah, so we'll definitely check back with 245, hopefully for part 2. So that's probably when we'll make part 2. And look who's in the house. Look who's in the house. Yeah, so we'll save this one when we take a look back at part 2. God damn, this video got 1.6K views, and I didn't even try for shit in that video.
Which video was it?
The Anchor Soundcore Liberty Air 2 versus the Galaxy Buzz. I didn't try for shit in that video. I was just so fucking lazy. But people liked it.
Bruh,
I mean, that's all that matters.
It happens all the time, bro.
But anyway, so yeah, that is it for part 1 of the UFC predictions video. We will do a part 2 where we will look back at 246. We will see which one of us came the closest. We will also take a look at the women's division for 2020 as well for time consumption purposes. And we will also take a look at some predictions. We'll make some for 2020 fights coming up, like 246 and the Conor McGregor fight, because by then they'll probably start announcing some matches. We can definitely take a look. So yeah, a lot more in store. But anyway, that is it for tonight's episode of Outside the Cage. I want to thank, as always, the man, the SMT, for joining on. You held down the hounds when I was gone there for a second. You did good. You did good. He's flexing. He's showing off. Where's the Miss SMT? She's in the background.
Isn't that what they do at weigh-ins? Like Nate Diaz?
They just like, it's like, yeah, it's like that. But anyway, listen, so we got to go. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you, Sam, as always, for coming on. I will see you again for when we take a look back at 246 and predictions. That is it for tonight's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great night. Peace.
Peace.